Jeff Richardson, Grandmasteers. Grandmasteers, Jeff Richardson.
Is there somebody who inspires you? Perhaps an older family member? Today I'm going to tell you about how my grandmother, even as an old lady with dementia, inspired me and continues to inspire me to this day. Let me take you back to the year 1986. My grandmother is 91 years old. Her dementia has progressed to the point where she sometimes mistakes my brother for my father. She developed a really bad infection in her foot, and the doctors recommended amputating to prevent the infection from spreading up her leg to the rest of her body. I went to visit her in the hospital before the surgery. She understood what was happening to her, what she was about to go through, and she started crying. And I said, "Grandma, what's wrong?" And she said, "I'll never be able to go skating again." This just seems so random to me. As far as I know, she had, I'd never known her to go skating. So I thought, well, this is just the dementia talking, and I didn't think much of it. I was skating a lot at this time myself. I was playing hockey a couple times a week, and I had a pretty good record of avoiding injuries, so I could keep playing. I kept playing for another 30 plus years beyond that. And then eventually I developed, of all things, an ingrown toenail. It seemed like a small thing. It didn't bother me when I was walking or even running. But playing hockey, by the end of the first period, it hurt so much I couldn't continue. So I quit hockey and put my equipment in the closet and my skates, and sitting there for the day when I could use it again. But enough about me for now. Let's go back to my grandmother. She survived the surgery, but it weakened her, and she wasn't able to survive the recovery. My father told the family he was going to go to Quebec because my grandmother had told him that she wanted him to have her cremated and spread her ashes in the Gatineau Hills north of Ottawa, because it reminded her of where she grew up in the north of England. Eventually my father passed away too, and my mother after that. And while my brother was clearing out their house, he found it tucked away in a shelf in a hall closet, a blue cardboard box weighing a couple of pounds. Inside that box was a plastic bag, but there was also an envelope. And in that envelope was a certificate saying, "These are the cremated remains of Lottie Richardson, my grandmother." Seems my father never made it to Quebec. So I told my brother, if you can hang on to this for a while, on my next business trip to Ottawa, I'll take Grandma to her final resting place. Meanwhile, back in Raleigh, I was thinking about what my grandmother said about not being able to go skating. And I said to myself, I need to go skating again. I'm not going to have the same regrets that she had. So I hadn't skated in 7 years, but I looked up the schedule at the arena in Lake Forest, found a public skating time, grabbed my skates, and I went. I was scared at first. Am I going to fall as soon as I step on the ice? It's been 7 years and I'm an old man now. But eventually it came back to me, and I was able to enjoy the smooth, fluid feeling of skating around in circles in this arena. I even did a little bit of backwards, which is something I was never very good at to begin with. And a week later, I signed up for something called Stick and Puck, which is basically a pre-game hockey warm-up that lasts an hour, and then there's no game afterward. But it was great to have that stick in my hands again and to skate around the ice. And I probably wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for my grandmother. It took me a while to realize it, but I realized that my grandma's tears were not really about skating specifically. It had probably been 50 years since she had gone skating the last time, but that didn't bother her because she could go anytime she wanted, until she couldn't. That was when the regrets sunk in. So if you have something that you love to do, maybe it's skating, maybe it's dancing, fishing, playing your favorite sport, whatever it is, but you've been putting it off for a more convenient time, do it. Because the day will come when you can't, and you'll wish you had. And then you'll know how my grandma felt that day in 1986. Mr. Contestant.